I used to think mattresses were all pretty much the same, and that finding the right one was just a matter of picking something soft or firm. But after testing countless Innerspring and Memory Foam models over the past few years, I've learned there's a lot that goes into finding a bed that consistently gets you a good night's rest. How it supports your body, how it even handles movement, and even how hot or cool it gets can feel very different depending on what sort of mattress set you pick. So today, we're comparing Innerspring and Memory Foam mattresses to see what makes these options different and figure out which one might work best for you. I'm going to take you through how they feel night after night, how they deal with things like motion transfer and supporting pressure points, and what I think are the best choices in each category based on my experience. So if you're struggling with back pain, sleep on your side, or you just want to stop waking up drenched in sweat, stick around to see which type of mattress could be the best fit for you and how you sleep. Let's get into it. All right, so the main difference when comparing Innerspring and Memory Foam mattresses, it just really comes down to, well, what's going on inside. Innerspring mattresses have a core made of steel coils, which gives them that familiar bouncy feel. When you lay down, it sort of pushes back a bit, keeping you kind of on top of the bed rather than sinking in. So that's something you'll appreciate if you want a more classic, responsive surface. It's especially nice if you like to move around easily at night, or you just prefer that firmer, lifted feel. Memory Foam, on the other hand, is all about contouring because it's made from dense foam that responds to your body heat and pressure. So instead of springing back right away, it molds to your shape and gives you more of a hugged feeling. I found this super helpful on nights when my shoulders or hips were sore. There's just a noticeable difference in how much pressure relief you get. Now, that being said, if you're not used to that slow sinking kind of feel, it can take a bit of an adjustment. But there are lots of other factors that impact how these two builds handle different situations, from motion transfer to temperature. So we're going to use a few examples from each one to understand how they compare. So if you've been shopping around for a new bed, there are a lot of pretty good options on the market. I've been reviewing mattresses for a long time, and with so many choices available, I know firsthand how confusing it can be. So to keep it simple, I put together a few picks for what I think are the best mattresses in each category. Now, if I had to pick just one for each, it's a tough choice, but I'd have to say the Saatva Classic for Innerspring and the Saatva Loom and Leaf for Memory Foam. I've tried all sorts of different mattresses, but when someone asks for a recommendation, these are the two that I keep going back to, and for good reason. So starting with the Saatva Classic, it's kind of like an upgraded version of your traditional Innerspring mattress, but what makes it different is the dual coil setup. So the bottom layer uses strong steel coils for durability, and the top layer has individually wrapped coils that contour more to your body and help with motion control. Now, it still has that Innerspring bounce, but it's not that shaky, springy kind of feel. It feels pretty stable and responsive at the same time. Another thing that I like is the Euro pillow top. It adds just enough cushion when you first lay down, soft but not too spongy. And I hadn't really expected the lumbar zone support to make such a big difference in how your lower back feels. It's subtle, but it still keeps your spine aligned, especially if you sleep on your back or your stomach. Now, the organic cotton cover keeps things breathable, and since it's an Innerspring, the airflow is already better, so I never felt like I was overheating on this bed. Now, switching to the Loom and Leaf, this one gives you a totally different feel. While it's a true memory foam bed, it also tries to solve many of the problems that are frequent with these types of mattresses. One of its standout features is the gel-infused foam layers they use. You're going to notice right away how these work to keep you cool throughout the night, which isn't something I can say for a lot of other memory foam mattresses. Now, another strong point with this bed is the contouring. It molds to your body in a way that feels soft and cushiony, but still very supportive. So if you tend to wake up with sore hips or shoulders, then this mattress does a great job with easing that pressure. Now, it's also made without fiberglass or harsh chemicals, which is great if you've got allergies or just want to steer clear of that stuff for your mattress. All right, pricing. So for our Innerspring fans, the Saatva Classic will come in at around $2,100 for a queen size, while a king goes for just over $2,600. So I wouldn't say it's a budget option, but considering the dual coil design, organic materials, and the fact that you can choose from 3 firmness levels, it's a good deal for what you're getting. Now, for the Loom and Leaf, a queen size is priced at around $3,000, while a king runs at $3,600. So yeah, it's definitely on the pricier side, but the value really shows through its higher density foam and a legit cooling system that's pretty rare to find in foam mattresses. On top of the extra lumbar support, that's built into the design. Now, what's also great is that Saatva will give you a full 365-night trial with any of their mattresses. That's 1 whole year to sleep on it and see how it holds up. So if it's not working for you, you can send it back for a refund. The only catch is the $100 transport fee, but honestly, considering how long the trial is, it's not a bad deal. Now, I got to give them credit for the delivery experience. They include white glove service with both models, meaning someone will actually show up to your home and set everything up for you. We'll even take away your old mattress if need be. So no fighting with a huge box up the stairs takes away the stress. So if you want to try either of these 2 options from Saatva, then you can check them out by visiting the affiliate link in the description below, where you can access special deals sometimes that you won't find if you go directly to their website. Now, if you're still stuck between whether to go with an Innerspring or a Memory Foam mattress, I've gotten to spend some time trying both the Saatva Classic and the Loom and Leaf, so I've got a pretty good sense of how the overall performance differs between the 2. So starting with the Saatva Classic, what I really like with this one is how easy it is to move around on. I tend to shift positions a lot while I'm sleeping, and this mattress doesn't make it a struggle. Now, that bit of balance isn't just for show, it actually makes turning over and getting in and out of bed way easier, which is something I hadn't fully appreciated until I switched over from Memory Foam. Another thing that stood out was the edge support. I could sit or lay near the edges without that sliding off the bed feeling. So if you sleep with a partner or just like to sprawl out, that extra usable space comes in handy. Now, the slight drawback is that you do feel some movement if the other person tosses and turns a lot, so motion isolation isn't really a strong suit. On the flip side, with the Loom and Leaf, the very first thing I noticed was how little motion transferred from the other side of the bed. My partner could shift around or get up, and I barely felt a thing. So that's a big win if you're a light sleeper and need things to stay calm and undisturbed throughout the night. It also has that nice cradling memory foam feel without being too squishy. It cushions pressure points like your shoulders and hips, but doesn't make you feel like you're stuck in quicksand. I found it especially helpful on nights when I was feeling sore or just wanted that extra softness around my joints. Now, the trade-off here is that it's not as easy to reposition yourself. You sink in a little bit more, so if you move in your sleep, it might take a little more effort to shift around compared with something like the Saatva Classic. So, to wrap it all up, look, if you're trying to choose between an Innerspring or Memory Foam mattress, the best option is really just going to depend on personal preference and literally how you like to sleep. The Saatva Classic is a great choice if you're after a breathable, supportive mattress that's easy to move around on and has that traditional, slightly bouncy feel. But if you're more into deep pressure relief, motion isolation, and getting that cushioned, hugging feel from your mattress without overheating, then the Loom and Leaf would be the way to go. At the end of the day, both of these beds are great options, so you really can't go wrong with either one. It all just comes down to what kind of comfort best helps you to get a good night's rest. Now, that's it for this review. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, then please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more just like this. As a reminder, if you want to check out either of the 2 Saatva beds that we've looked at today, then you can get yours and access deals sometimes when they're available that you're not going to find through their website. Also, if you're interested in working with us or sponsoring a future video, just reach out using the email in the description below. Now, as always, I enjoy hearing your thoughts, so go ahead and leave any questions or comments down below, and I'll try to get back to them as fast as I can. Finally, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.